Hey everyone, this is Will from EmpoweredTraders.com. Today I'm going to be doing some analysis on some top cryptocurrencies. And as you can see here, we're currently looking at Bitcoin. As you know, since Bitcoin's all-time high set in April, we have now been down roughly 55%. We're actually still trading in a really narrow range. As you can see here, from between 41,000 and 29K. And although price does look quite bearish overall, I'm going to say that we are pretty neutral. And the reason for that, as I said earlier, we're still trading in a really narrow range. Price hasn't managed to break above it or below it yet. And one of the things I'd like to point out is the fact that Bitcoin is still trading below its 200 moving average. And as price continues to play out, what I'd like to see, especially if I would like to consider a full recovery scenario, is for price to essentially to break back up and consolidate above the 200 moving average, which would roughly be about 44,000. Only then would I consider a scenario that we might be in a full recovery might be coming ahead. Nonetheless, we're still pretty neutral. And as you can see here, there are two main scenarios I currently see in Bitcoin. One is that this is actually the bottom, as we see here, and it also has been the bottom set here back in January as well. And we might consolidate in this range for 1-2 months, maybe all the way through August, before a move back up to the upside. Or second possible scenario is we go back down and test 19,000. And the reason why 19,000 is a really, really important level is because that was the all-time high set in the last cycle in December 2017. Now, for a move to test 19,000, that's another 40% drop from the current price. Again, I don't think the scenario is likely to happen, but nonetheless, it's still on the plate. Now we'll move on to Ethereum. I will come back to Bitcoin, but we'll move on to Ethereum for now. As you can see here, Ethereum has been trading in a really, really pretty on point channel trend for a while until we see pretty much a blow up top, and that took us all to 4,300, I believe. Can't really see there, but anyways, we came back down here and we continued actually to trade in the channel. We see touch, and if you look closely, we failed to break this the support of the trend channel for a while. We see here, even here, although we did technically break below it, we actually failed to close. And in fact, we closed back above this green line here. You see another attempt here, and here, until finally we broke down. And this is a really clean bearish breakout. We see price breakdown here. We see two candles, buyers trying to come back up, test this line, failed, continue breakdown to the downside. Now, something I like to point out, which is very interesting, is unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum is still trading above its 200 moving average, as you can see here. And very interesting enough, price seems to be very sensitive to this. As you see here, we again closed back above 200 moving average. And today we opened and again failed, or at least so far. We have a few more hours till this candle closes. But again, you see here we failed to close below 200 moving average as well. Now, Ethereum does look more bearish structurally because, considering it has, pretty much crashed from its 4,000 price range. It showed earlier, Bitcoin is down roughly 55%. Ethereum is down about 60%. But again, I would also label Ethereum as pretty neutral. And again, the reason for that is because we're yet to break below the 200 moving average. However, if we do break the 200 moving average, I am pretty confident that we may go down to test these prices here at 1,500 or even lower at 1,300. But nonetheless, as long as price consolidates above the 200 moving average, Ethereum is pretty neutral. Now let's go on to ADA. ADA, for those of you guys who follow them, the cryptocurrency closely, you guys know that ADA has actually been holding up much better than most cryptocurrencies. But nonetheless, we see price again, like the moves here and here, came down to test the bottom side of the trend. And interesting enough, we came all the way down, just barely above the 200 moving average before a quick move back up. So for ADA, the two scenarios I see is we might come back down to test the 200 moving average again. If it holds, that might just be the bottom. Now, however, if we do break the 200 moving average, same with Ethereum, I'm pretty confident there's going to be more downside. Now let's look at DOT. There's not a lot of analysis for DOT here. I mean, prices pretty much just fall off a cliff. If we look from its all-time high set in May, you'll see that we're down roughly 74%. And same with Link, also roughly around 70%. And I would like to point out that these, 70% decline is a really important level to, keep your eye on. This is my analysis of oil a couple months back. And we see here that every single time oil crash, it usually bottoms out, and on average, about 76%. And let me show you what that actually looks like. And this is just one example. This is just the best example. There's many examples where stocks, many assets that crash roughly about 76, 75%, and that's the bottom. So you can see here, the crash in 08, that took us down roughly 75%. This crash here in 2015, 2014, another 76%. And of course, the COVID crash, which took us down slightly lower, 76, 77%. And the interesting about this is that, again, as you see here, DOT is down 74%. Link is down roughly 71%. So we might break down even lower. Maybe we see Link down 77%, 76%. But nonetheless, what this is telling me is maybe a bottom could be forming soon. Now that could be at $12, could be lower at $10, $9 for DOT. But usually roughly 75% decline is where I'm looking to buy DOT and Link. Anyway, guys, now let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's look at some bottom structures. There are many types of bottom structures. We have a broadening bottom here that could be playing out. Let me just move this out so you guys can see. Okay. So there are a few structures, bottom structures I like to go over with, and we see what is likely. Right now, broadening bottom does not seem like it because, like I said, we're really trading a really tight range where price is really respecting, the 41K level as well as the bottom around at 29K. Could we see a wedge potentially? Let's see what else we got. Double lock, unlikely. Rounding bottom, also another one that could be happening, could be forming. But the one that a lot of people have been talking about, as you guys might see from other channels, is the Markov accumulation. So the reason for this, as you know, the Markov, the crash, this one here, played out, right, on Bitcoin. So people were like, damn, Markov's, phases may be, what could also play out on the downside as well. So let's go back and let's see whether this really resembles Bitcoin. Now, some people have said that we are actually in this false phase B with this, move here. But I'm just a little bit skeptic. this here is supposed to be a false breakout, which means it's supposed to spook a lot of people out. I would say it's possible that this is the phase B of, you know, the bottom structure, but it's possible that we may see another move to the downside, perhaps to 27K, 26K, or 25K, and that to me would look more like a phase B. But again, for a marks off, you know, phases, the bottom downside, even if this phase B does play out, you know, there's still going to be a lot of accumulation that's going to happen. We could see price trading this really narrow range for, you know, till August or even September. So there's a lot of time for those who haven't been in the market, you know, to accumulate, to get into the game. And we'll see. And also another thing I like to point out is this spring test here also. So we see two false breakout. It's possible that this could be phase B, and we'll see another recovery move back up, and then maybe in August, late August, we may see a spring test, which is, you know, kind of like a scary test, something that would really exhaust the retail traders and really, you know, shake the market, be like, oh my god, it's, you know, it's over. We haven't seen this yet also. So be patient, guys. We'll let the price play out. If the opportunity comes, snatch the opportunity. Nonetheless, I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on in the crypto markets. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video and subscribe for more content.